Is that question mark at the
Debuff.
end?
Debuff tilt.
Yeah, they got debuff.
Last for
Right.
15
Unknown.
And just CTY is their current pros, and the fact that they probably should be winning. But we're going to go into the draft.
10 seconds remaining.
I think we need to get better at paper pros and cons.
We start
5
over.
seconds
Yeah.
remaining.
I mean, you got 2 more series, so it's like, you know.
Yeah, we
rough.
got paper for
Reserve
days.
time.
Good.
We're all good.
Good. CDC? Dire? Time?
For
First pick going
EHOME,
away
finally
from
EHOME goes for first pick if they won the coin toss.
Yeah, there was another coin toss, which we don't know who won.
Yes.
CDEC.
Because the
turn
last
to
2
ban.
games EHOME was in Dire. So maybe they are changing things up.
Is Lone Druid going to get through?
Unlikely.
Yeah. They ban Earthspray and Lone Druid.
Well,
already,
EHOME
so-
will take the Void though, most likely. So
CDC was the team that
No,
banned Lone
CDC
Druid
is the-
previous
No,
2
I
games.
think they'll take.
no, I'm saying if they ban Lone Druid, EHOME will first pick Void to
5
block it from
seconds
CD.
remaining.
So that's why CDC aren't just gonna necessarily instantly ban Lone Druid, but
EHOME's turn to
They still do it.
yeah, they will. They're gonna lose to it. So first game we will see XC play
CDEC.
something different.
Turn to pick.
What will it be?
And that was one of their pros. To remind viewers at home.
The fact this guy's
So
gonna play
now
Void.
they've just got Unity. Where's that?
Can Tidehunter replace the Void's role?
Huh?
Can Tidehunter replace the Void's role?
Does he play a lot of Tide?
He plays the hero.
I hope so. He's a professional Dota
All
player.
offlaners can play Tide.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, I think Tide is a
10
really good
seconds
hero versus
remaining.
I
the
don't know. Have
Void.
you seen She?
Are you an offlane player, Shield?
5 seconds
I
remaining.
am. I haven't played a lot of Tidehunter though, lately.
Enchantress.
I'm not ashamed.
Winter found that way more funny than
Then it
I
should
think. Yeah, it should have been. It was really low-hanging fruit of Go there, Winter.
Sorry, Shiva.
Okay, I don't mind. I'm used to it by now. I mean, I don't consider it a flame anymore. It's like, I'm known for something.
Yeah.
Yes! What are you known for? Which
Yeah.
hero is your
She's
typical
making
hero?
bank off Tidehunter skins.
If anybody ravages and doesn't hit anything, everybody says Shiva Ravage. What's your spell? And what
10
do
seconds
people make say
remaining.
Winter?
Yeah.
Which
you know
hero?
what I remember about Winter? You're
just-
what meme
you're
I
just-
remember?
You're just
5
1/3 of a
seconds
man.
Zero and 14.
Oh, zero,
That's what you
Zero
are,
and 14
Winter.
is what.
You have to
Reserve
scare an
time.
item.
GG.
I'm sorry, Winter. I just love you.
No, you don't love me.
Great. Okay, so CDC goes for Enchantress?
You know that Scrift was known for the same thing, but globally.
What do you mean?
In a game, Bloodline Champions, if you missed your ultimate, everyone in the community
all
called it
ultimates.
Scrift. Yeah.
Oh,
So you're-
doesn't
yeah.
matter which
Wow,
hero.
that's
It's like you
great.
Scrift your ulti. And actually, yeah.
That's worse.
Apparently there's
better.
some...
Does it give you more fame? Or less specific?
More
Bad-
fame.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
EHOME's turn
You
to
Shiva
pick.
your ultimate.
I don't know.
Quite a solid opening for CDC. I think I remember them. They do not only run a 4 Enchantress. I think all the Enchantresses we've seen today are all 4 positions. We
Nope.
haven't really seen
There's
an offlane.
been a 3. In the
The
MVP.
oh, the MVP game. Okay. I think in the correct situation, if you utilize it well,
10
offlane
seconds
Enchantress can actually
remaining.
do so much in the game. Core position. And once more, the
5
bench is there
seconds
to
remaining.
deal with the Chronosphere. With the
Ooh.
swap.
Something that CDC has actually done. When they picked up
Reserve
bench,
time.
they went for Batrider. Combination with that 4 XE
Wow,
actually.
that is early.
EHOME's turn to ban.
EHOME have loved their Phoenix today.
Yeah.
They ran it.
Phoenix is pretty good against offlane Enchantress, I guess.
Because
as a
of the
support.
Sun Ray.
It was so-so. So-so. They lost. They when they drafted this Phoenix, they had like
CDEC,
hero
turn
like
to
Crystal
ban.
Maiden, some other heroes with attack speed slow to help out with help
egg
Phoenix.
as well.
EHOME's turn to ban.
Not a team fight, generally.
So once more, the pick has gone back to just heavy amounts of team
CDEC,
fight.
turn
But
to
you know, these
ban.
2 heroes are really weak against Silencer, so EHOME takes it out. So, sorry, James, you won't get to see your favorite hero.
Well, you get to see it in the ban phase. That's more than we saw before. A little bit counts.
At least he
10
made it to the ban
seconds
phase this time. Next time, he
Yeah,
might...
thanks,
Who
Winter,
knows?
that's really helpful.
5 seconds remaining.
Is it weird to you at all that EHOME were the ones that banned out Ursa? Did I pick it up? I guess it's okay versus
I mean,
Phoenix.
with
Okay
Ursa
versus
and
Phoenix.
Enchantress...
Against Void and Phoenix, it's
Yeah,
really good.
Ursa plus Enchantress can be really fast-paced because you go for Roche and then you pressuring the opponents. Maybe they feel like on dire side that might be something really
They
hard.
could
to
have
deal
used
with.
it though. They could have used it versus Ench. They could have used it for some Roche potential that CDEC.
But they don't have
to
first
kinda
pick
mirror
in the
this.
next series. Next
Next
pick.
phase, you mean? Yeah.
next pick series.
I feel like a third pick Ursa could be somewhat easy to deal with though.
Yeah, they're probably like worried that, like what Shiva mentioned, like CDEC just grab it. They have bench, they have Ench, so it's their lineup and they're on the dire side. So they do not want to run. It's the last game, so you do not want to run the risk that you get caught by a certain hero. Yeah.
I think you could use like Quinks or something as a
CDEC,
okay
turn
substitute.
to pick.
They remove the Sven, so they want to go for something that deals a lot of physical damage.
Or just like a Meepo / PL. Although the Meepo's kind of out of the question.
I speak for the trees.
I like this a lot. Nature's Prophet.
EHOME's turn
These
to
are
pick.
3 of the 5 heroes that Phoenix ran.
And suddenly CDC's draft's looking like it could be like a
They-
kind of cheesy push strat even, like
Yeah,
where they
they
take
basically
Roshan, 5-man, take towers.
I think you want to, if you're CDEC and the way that EHOME have been playing and the way that you've been successful, you want diversity in terms of being able to be like, okay, we can start pushing. Okay, not working, we can start split pushing. Okay, we can take the fight when it comes to us and we have to, which can be at the base. By then, you know, when the game goes really late in Dota, it's never really decided on who wins until the fight at the the final fight, because the items just do so much and the heroes are scaled to that point where it's like a big mistake really cost you the game. So I like the fact
10
that CDEC
seconds
are picking up like Nature's Prophet for this, and Tusk is going to be
They
I mean,
have
I mean, you can see 2 different plans right now. Like CDEC wants to have really good lanes. They're very good early game Furen,
Reserve
Enchantress,
time.
and bench. At the same time, they pick the Furen in response to EHOME's heavy team fight. And you can see the first 3 picks from EHOME, they're just picking around team fight. And Tusk really good with Phoenix Egg because your sigil slows down attack speed, so it makes it really difficult for the opponent to focus the egg. So you can see just 2 different plans. Like CDEC just want to go for a really fast pushing
EHOME's
tempo.
turn to pick.
Draw even, so this is really some MEP draft. They love to draft like this.
Yeah, this is like it's basically a pocket DC at this point. And the key thing with EHOME's first 2 picks is they're very ulti dependent. Like, you don't have Supernova, Chronosphere, there's no way you can fight into
Look
a
at their
turret strat.
lanes, Parker. Their lanes are so strong.
Yeah.
With the Drow, the bench.
Aura is going to be crazy
Yeah.
as well. Like the actual
It's-
right-click damage from a Nature's Prophet and a Venge, with a
seconds
Drow.
remaining.
How is EHOME going
All
to
they
survive?
need is some like
for 10
last
minutes?
pick mid-tempo control. Like, they don't even have to
5
pick a range hero.
seconds
They can pick Viper if they want. They could pick Beastmaster. Like, there's
Yeah, anything along those lines
doesn't
will
really-
fit their lineup.
their last pick from
Reserve
mid can just be whatever, and their draft is
Right.
looking damn
So-
scary.
Their team fight's not nearly
EHOME
as
in
strong.
trouble.
No, I don't know.
I would
Not
say
in
yes.
EHOME has a sick team fight. Faces
Yeah,
Void
but you're
Phoenix.
gonna have a very.
do
The
they-
problem is you're gonna have a very hard time in the first 10 minutes because Enchantress and Prophet bench. These 3 heroes are really really strong early game. You're drafting a position like a 4 or 5 support Phoenix. You're gonna take some time if you come online.
Yeah, and remember, Melanie, currently they are EHOME are debuffed, built, and their upper on is laning phase. So CDEC know what is up.
Oh, well done, James.
But
Well done.
CDC, their problem
Good
against Team Secret in the
observations.
3rd game.
Thank you, Winter. Huh? Sorry, what's your...
The problem against Team Secret in the 3rd game for CDC was that they had a pick-off team and they went for team fights anyway because they like
but
the
you got
team
Nature's
fights, so
Prophet,
they
you
can
don't
get
have to.
baited into team fights. EHOME can still dominate them. I do like Nature's Prophet though. He has
Yeah.
80% win rate on
Yeah.
that
Team
SC, by the
fight.
way.
Oh,
At this
snap.
match.
So
all in on
this
the
is a
side.
core warlock. It's like a mid. It's either a mid
Yeah.
warlock or a safe lane warlock.
Probably old chicken mid, but
Doesn't sound like a CTY.
Yeah, probably OG.
yeah. too slow
10
paced, too boring
seconds
for
remaining.
CTY.
I still feel like
He's
even with,
very squishy.
they have a big amount of team fight,
5
but at the
seconds
same time, like
remaining.
I feel like they could crumble in the
Yeah.
lane.
And what happens when the ultis are on cooldown? Like, you win a team fight and then CDC respawn. Like, you're like 15 minutes in, they're like 40 second respawn times. You respawn, there's no supernova, there's no warlock
The
ultimate.
power of the Sunray.
You just go straight down
Have
the
you
lane.
seen Sunray like
Yeah.
single-handedly stop like 3
Okay.
of Phoenix's pushes, even when they were really far behind? Sunray is
See,
ridiculous.
if,
Yeah,
I'm,
yeah,
if I'm Drow Ranger in this game, right?
10 seconds remaining.
Hello, Blade. Go around ganking people. It's gonna be legit.
5
What do you think about Warlock
seconds
safe lane
remaining.
then?
Shut up, Winter.
We
Are you
think
laughing
Warlock
'cause you
safe lane
remember
is
the joke from earlier? What's happening, Winter?
No, I was gonna say that's why you're not playing here.
Huh?
That's why
Warlock
you're not
safe lane
playing.
versus
I know.
Enchantress would be-
yeah. I just want to say.
It's just it's not
Turn
CTY
to
style.
pick.
keep my
Which is
keep myself.
why we don't think it'll be a warlock.
But it will help.
They want to hear that can deal with the Enchantress better, like the Gyro Juggernaut maybe could be.
I actually like
possible.
Skyrath though. Oh no, they can't
need a
pick
carry,
Skyrath.
they need
Yeah,
a
they need
CTY
a carry.
carry.
Yeah, they need a carry.
Gyro's already banned though.
Gyro would have been good because it's kind of can fight, can deep push a bit.
Maybe QOP. You know, CTY
Yeah.
has been famous for QOP.
CTY used to play Mean Tusk.
Yeah, that might
Is that out of
actually
the
be good.
question?
Tusk?
10
I mean,
seconds
that's what
remaining.
CTY was known for, Queen of Pain and Tusk in like
No, Tusk
Two
was
patches ago?
11 when they were
5
picking
Yeah,
Tusk.
seconds
Oh,
and-
yeah,
that's the
you're
offlane.
right.
Yeah. So right now, CDs.
Could he play the Void and then they Tusk offlane? Is that?
I'm not
outrageous?
sure though. I don't really
Probably
fancy safe lane Void
Yeah.
too much.
They don't have much damage then if they have Warlock, Void,
10
Tusk
seconds
cores.
remaining. of
Okay, the Queen of Pain goes the other way.
EHOME's turn to pick.
Why
So
would you
just
gonna
look
play?
at CDC's laning phase. Their laning phase is just absolutely terrifying. That all their lanes are so strong.
Maybe Razor? Razor's some deep push.
Not strong enough.
They definitely need deep push and a carry to do that. And a carry that needs to be at least decent in the laning phase, so you don't get run over by the
Juggernaut
nature.
maybe?
Jug's so like against all the treants and summon.
Yeah.
What about
10
like the Death
seconds
Prophet?
remaining.
Not CTY style.
CTY hero.
5 seconds remaining.
CTY hero is like Slug Storm.
Slug,
yeah, all these
morphing
type
So
of
they're
defense.
just so bad against like the 5-man deathful
Reserve
push that
time.
CD do.
tough though. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Maybe they were thinking
You
queer.
play safe lane Lina too. I think Lina would be really
Do you like Medusa here? Slow pace.
too way too slow.
Because you can actually deep push. Too slow pace.
I think Lina would actually be my nice middle ground. Like decent amount of AoE, CTY hero. Good.
That's pretty
I
good.
can't really think of that.
They
many.
need burst versus
10
the Edge,
seconds
so
remaining.
Lina would actually provide that.
Spectre.
Or even more team fight and
Wow.
deep push wise, not that much.
Dude, the Warlock Spectre is disgusting.
They can delay the game very long though.
Yeah, but how are they gonna be able to survive? That's very dangerous. Yeah, first 10 minutes.
They could just lose in 15,
Yeah.
and we wouldn't be surprised.
Okay. Couches, are you ready? One team is going in to the lower bracket where they have to play 2 best of 1s when they get to the main event from the 2nd to the 6th. And this is the match going to decide it. Couch number 1. That Winter, I went to you first this time, and Ben, who do you
Yeah,
think
faith in
take it?
CTY Spectre.
After last game, probably not. Sorry.
So you're going with CDC?
Yeah. I think their early game potential is just way
10
too
seconds
hard
remaining.
for them to deal with. I don't think, even though they have superior team fight, I don't think they can survive
5
long enough for that
seconds
to come
remaining.
online.
Come on, Warlock, dude. Warlock Spectre, that's old school.
Can we be split?
No, you have to decide. One of you has to convince the other. and
Okay,
then the game won't start.
Warlock Spectre, come on.
I'll just trust him because he's older. He's
Alright.
more experienced than me.
Couch
Let's
number
go.
2.
We're going to
I
EHOME.
think the tilt debuff is gonna wear out. I think EHOME is gonna show up, and I think the debuff we had a con at CDEC.
I don't know.
Are you in on this? You in
No,
on
no,
this?
no, okay, hear me out, hear me out.
Couch number 3?
Lack of growth. We called that deep, like we said that was a con for CDEC. They have not learned from their mistakes they did against Team Secrets Game 3, which means
I
that
don't
they're not going
understand,
to be
Shiva.
able to
Who's
stop
winning? Just
team
tell me who
fights.
the fuck is winning. Shiva.
EHOME is going to win this because they're going
Alright.
to team fight, and CDC is going to be baited into
not
team
agree.
fighting
Good,
with
thank
them.
you. Alright, I'm going to go for CDEC because I know what the fuck is up. So let's go to the game and see who's going to go into the lower bracket. A huge match for both these teams. EHOME versus CDEC.
Alright, thank you very much, Analyst Desk, as we've got to jump straight into this game because we already have a smoke coming out from EHOME. They're going to make their 5-man rotation. It's going to be game number 3 between CDC and EHOME. Which one of these two teams is going to be dropping into that lower bracket, and which one's going to be limping forward? Our draft was kind of interesting. CDC running
30
a push
seconds
strat,
to battle.
which EHOME responded with probably one of the most interesting picks so far of this tournament, Warlock. Warlock really bring us here for EHOME.
Before I talk about that, for a second I thought Garter was PA. That set is real confusing. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways, the Warlock pick stops the 5-man aggression from CDEC pretty strongly. It's an opener. You need something to open
The
up the
battle
fight,
begins.
always. And I think they knew that they were going to take this pick because it makes things incredibly chaotic. And that's something that we haven't really talked about, or casters don't talk about enough, I think, is how much chaos you can start in a team fight. Because once that rock drops, communication is weird. It's like, well, I got hit by the rock, but what are we supposed to do? You don't want to fight the rock. You don't have enough time. Everybody's going in a different direction after the rock drops. It's just odd. And also, it's a stable matchup because with the draw aura, Shiki is going to be dangerous in this mid lane. So you need something that can just kind of neutralize that threat. And Warlock is one of those heroes that is incredibly difficult to play, even with the draw.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best lane dominator mids, but if anybody's going to be able to put a stop to that, it's going to be a hero like Queen of Pain with Draw Ranger Aura and some rotating supports as well as a rotating offlaner. We've got XD playing Nature's Prophet who can come in for some early ganks, as well as the Enchantress and Vengeful Spirit are known to be heavy rotators. That being said, though, EHOME making their supports head up to the top lane seems like they're actually going to try and keep those supports at top as much as possible to make sure the Warlock wins his mid lane matchup.
I don't know how good of an idea this is, though. You've got Spectre in a one-on-one matchup against the Nature's Prophet, and these Nature's Prophet treants, like 32 damage apiece, they've got really good move speed, something that you should always think about. And you can just kite them around before the Spec gets boots, and you're already seeing how much damage he's able to put out with double Fairy Fire. Once he picks up the Ring of Protection upgrade, things get even nastier for CYs.
And by now, it's most definitely not a surprise to CDEC that the supports are potentially at that top lane. No one leaves the Spectre alone against that matchup for this long.
Yeah. And even bigger than this is, like, you're going for this attempt at messing with aggressive at top, has to work. You can't afford for this gank to fail because, well, you're giving up so much farm in your safety.
And the Hellbear Smasher is actually going to make sure that this gank goes terribly for them. They managed to get a silence. Nice snowball, though. Great save from Lonham that will make sure that Old 11 does escape with his life intact, but still, instead they couldn't afford for that to go wrong, and it most definitely did.
They did alleviate the pressure mid, but more importantly than that, that could have gone so badly. The Nature's Prophet picks up the early level 2 and then he TP's up there, then all of a sudden you're staring down the 3v4 fight in which everybody has the Draw Ranger Aura.
Yeah, it's pretty much kind of agreed that like aggro tri-lanes against Nature's Prophet are just generally a bad idea because of the early impact he's going to be able to have. You can't really ever match the numbers that team is going to be able to pull.
The scary thing for CDEC though is that they're putting the lineup that they have up against a Spectre. This is something I wanted to bring up anyways. Is Spectre's a really really strong hero anyways. But then you put him against the Draw Ranger, you're able to neutralize her aura because you're just on top of her, and it is one of the most annoying. What's a Drow gonna do against a Manta defeal from the Spec? You can't survive against that.
Yeah, you're just gonna get very quickly dismantled by that Spectre. And combined with the fact that you've got this EHOME teamfight synergy where they're operating on Chronosphere with Egg, with Snowball, and the Warlock Golem being dropped, this is the kind of like 5-man lineup that you really can't lose team fights with if you execute, in any semblance of correct.
I almost feel like somebody from CDEC needs to grab a mech or something, and they have to win the laning phase really hard, and Old Chicken's gonna go down here.
Yep, these are the rotation from the supports that we were talking about. That early movement from EHOME up to that top lane kept the support there for only so long, and as soon as EHOME had to rotate their supports back down to bottom, they did immediately go for that gank. XD is going to be chased away and Fairy Fire, make sure that he stays alive. Unfortunately, the damage coming out from Tusk and Phoenix really strong, but Spectre is just not a hero that has that large of an impact in the laning phase.
Doesn't even have boots yet.
Yeah.
Gonna ferry himself boots and what looks like regen. It's pretty good for him, but CDEC, when it comes to just like pure team fight, I think they're really outclassed. So what this means is you have to get as much as you can out of the lane.
And this is the dangerous thing that you brought up time and time before, is that EHOME are willing to actually, lose their laning phase oftentimes. And they'll come back in the mid game with just strong team fight.
Old 11's gonna get spotted.
Ooh, but jump away. Garter's not able to get that done out in time.
Yeah. The amount of team fight though that EHOME have, on top of the fact that they've got ultimately the best late game in this game, Spectre, means that a lot of the pressure is alleviated off of them, and psychologically, just great for your team. You're never really too concerned. You're thinking to yourself, as long as things don't go out of control, we always have a way back into this game.
Yeah.
And I think that's just EHOME's principle to begin with, the way that they think about it. It's like, as long as we're never really out of it, then we'll have the late game advantage and we can play for that.
They know that Time Walk was just used by the Faceless Voids. This is a good opportunity for them to get aggressive on him while it's on cooldown. They're going to be able to get the stun out, and that's exactly how you got to deal with a Faceless Void. Try and abuse those first 2 levels of Time Walk, force him to use it out, and put pressure on him. You can't let a Faceless Void just as much as he wants out of that offlane.
I'm surprised though that Old 11 stayed there, because probably, you know for a fact, everything that we detailed is something that EHOME already knows.
Right.
That CDEC have to play incredibly aggressive in the safe lane and the laning phase in general. And more importantly than that, the biggest tip-off is that the siege creep is coming in. And that's almost always just in the, let's kill the off-laner
and go for the push.
Yeah, exactly. Mid lane is just, looks like to be the next target. For a second I thought they wanted to go for two.
Oh, they're actually gonna try and go this one out. CTY just got his ultimate. They're gonna go for Garter first here, trying to run him down. And the golems are gonna be dropped, and they'll be able to get Garter to start with. Q is dropping lower as that Sunray Beam is just going to town on the Enchantress. It looks like that damage from the Warlock is gonna be able to take him out for a double kill onto Old Chicken. And perhaps that is part of the reason why Faceless Void was willing to stay in that top lane. That rotation from the Furion did allow the Spectre free farm in order to get that level 6, and that actually comes into play quite early here as they find a successful team fight.
That's what we talked about, right? The 11 space creation death.
Mm-hmm.
Never count this guy out. No matter what he does, there's a reason for it.
It feels like that death though was a bit necessary because that push is going to come in, like, right?
Yeah, I think it's an acceptable death. In all honesty, I'm probably just nitpicking. Who am I to question that guy?
Level 6 is going to be here soon for Old 11 either way. In fact, he's going to stumble on too aggressive. He is going to go for an early time dilation build. Now, most Voids will try and get just one value level of time lock and max out time dilation secondary to time lock, but he's actually going full out without time lock.
How afraid the Drow Ranger is of the Old 11. He knows that Lanem hasn't shown himself on the map, and probably more importantly than this, despite the death that he suffered, look at what level he is compared to the Drow. This is really significant right now.
Gonna find XD, and Lanem very wisely is holding off on his snowball just in case the Furion tried to TP away immediately. He could put a stop to that one. Easy to lose that hero, but that is going to be able to create some space in the mid lane.
Can't stop pressuring. You have to keep going for this, even though EHOME has just reeled off 3 kills in a row unanswered. You still have to make these plays. The Drow's about to hit level 6. Things up a lot for a team.
Yeah, you really got to use the fact that, ooh, Old Chicken, no, that's not going to be enough. And now the Chronosphere is laid out. They can actually turn this one around pretty decently, but there's just not enough fast TPs. In fact, XZ even coming in, forcing the time lock out from the Faceless Void. There's just too many long cooldown. Big, like, it's great. Big team fight ultimates all across the board for EHOME, but they all have pretty lengthy cooldowns, and that's something in CDEC definitely have to abuse. They lost that mid fight, but every single fight after that for the next 2.5 minutes should be favorable to them.
Problem though is now the Warlock almost has his ultimate, is up from the Spectre, and CDEC definitely have this really specific timing window. Because again, like we said, once CTY picks up a measure of farm, there's not a whole lot that CDEC's lineup can do to stop it. You want to try to be aggressive on the map, get as much as you can, but it's going to be so difficult dealing with a really well-timed Haunt plus a Rock. Think about how much chaos that's going to cause for your team. You're going to have no idea what's going on. And then on top of that, the Egg.
Yeah, with the Phoenix Egg and the Golem being laid out, that's 2 different abilities that you can't really fight into, forcing your whole entire team to retreat, and that's oftentimes going to mean that your team is actually going to split up. And that just means that the Spectre Ultimate comes into play and tears through, especially some of these supports with the Desolate damage.
So look what CDEC do instead. They know that going for the mid-tier 1 tower, the reason why they don't go for it is because of the Rock. They know that Haunt plus the Rock is up, so this is the next safest one. Maybe if you get this, then you give Shiki or the Drow the Aegis, and you can go for it, but
they're going to try and contest this one. Robertson is almost dead. XD tries to go for the TP out. Going to have to throw round number 2, but the Golem is going to be dropped. And now they can chase down the rest of these heroes. Garter is going to be the first up. Shiki with the time dilation. They actually jump in. Q nicely grabs the Aegis away from CTY. Will be able to get the kill onto Lanem on the right-hand side, though. Old 11 still trying to chase down Shiki. Can't quite get him. And Q salvages that fight.
Cap, mistakes were made. Oof. All they had to do was
focus down Roshan.
Yeah, it's like, don't go for the Queen of Pain. That kill is attractive, but you're leaving a 300, 400 HP Roshan, and Q just kind of saunters in there. That's the best word for it, because he was completely unopposed. And he's just like, I guess this is low. You know, I'm just gonna walk in,
And that makes the trade-off really favorable for CDEC if you think about the fact that 2 of those big-time ultimates were used for EHOME, and it wasn't necessarily a great winning fight.
That could have been game-breaking right there. If they win that fight, which they were going to no matter what, and they take the Aegis plus the last hit, that was so much of CDC's timing window out the door.
Right.
But now, it's okay again because somehow your champ just like casually walked in and I'm just laughing because it's so ridiculous, the situation. It's like everybody ran away from Roshpit but her and the Warlock.
And that's part of the idea, right, between behind going for that early Roshan is that Aegis may actually allow you to win what is kind of supposed to be unwinnable team fights when EHOME have all their ultimates off cooldown, but
CDEC, they just took a tower because of that. And they might just go for another one because they know that this Enchantress is not a worthless support. There are some heroes that, if they grabbed it, EHOME would not affect it.
Congrats on your Crystal Bait Aegis.
You did it, Ben. No, but an Enchantress actually deals a lot of damage. It's hard to kill to begin with, so Q can now run in front, tank up all the spells, zone out Faceless Void so he can't get a good chrono opportunity, but it might not matter. Smoked up, they want to look for this fight.
They have the Chronosphere, but they do not have the egg, and that is a critical part of this fight. They're going to be able to get off the Chronosphere and actually catch his Q on the side. The Spectre ultimate is now being popped. XD in the background is taking a lot of damage. Looks like Garter should be the first down. Lonham actually dodging a little bit of damage with that snowballing on in. XD a little bit more damage. CTY is able to finish him off, but now he's being slowed down pretty dramatically. CTY is going to be able to survive as Old Chicken puts himself in the front lines with that beautiful slow invis combination that actually prevented CDEC from pursuing the Spectre.
So, found a lot of gold there actually, getting the double kill, but the big objective there was the tier 2 tower, and despite the Haunt and the Chrono being offended, they grabbed the Nature's Prophet and pretty useless Garter kill.
I can't help but thinking if only Kaka had just another 300 experience, had that Supernova, that fight looks entirely different, right? When he's able to jump in, pop the Supernova, then the Chronosphere comes in over the top. I mean, there's no way CDC can fight it.
I can't help but thinking, like,
yeah, if only, you know, they have the ace.
That bites EHOME in the ass, I would...
And they go to the lower bracket?
Yeah, I would be furious. Like, I would actually be... If I was an EHOME player, I would just be like, what the... One kill and... Makes all the difference, though.
Aggressive picks up the Helmet Dominator and is going to start using this Dark Troll Summoner to scout out the EHOME defense.
CDC is getting so much out of this now. They're going to go for this tier 2 pretty much uncontested. That EHOME, the one downside to their lineup is the ridiculous cooldowns that they have. There's zero chance that they're going to fight this.
Yeah, 35 seconds till the Chronosphere is back up. They have the egg. Actually, they have the Golem. If they can actually drop Chaotic Offering at the same time as Supernova, that's not quite the same as Chronosphere, but it's
I still
close.
think you wait for Hunt at least, before you get into...
Oh, yeah, I guess Hunter's not...
Look at Q, he doesn't even care. He's like, I got Aegis, I'm gonna enchant this.
A lot of them somehow managed to get off Walrus Punch onto Q, snowballs forward onto XD, but he's way far behind enemy lines. EHOME can't really help him out. Gonna have to retreat back to their high ground. CTY is just actually trying to get whatever farm he can before CDEC hit their full timing. Of course, they're not going to go high ground just yet. They got to wait for Roshan number 2. Oh, aggressive. Too far forward there. Tries to farm just that next wave. Is going to be forced to have a save coming out from Garter with that swap. Chaotic Offering was dropped, and CTY still going to be able to stay on aggressive. Look for Q, but he's TPing out. And nice TP away from the Vengeful Spirit, actually. Garter gets himself in a nice position in the trees, does get out. But that was still 2 ultimates being used for a kill on the Draw Ranger. It's a nice pickoff, but is it really going to be worth that much for EHOME? We'll see whether or not they can get this tier 1 tower.
I think you just reload if you're CDEC and immediately go for top racks. Or not racks, the top tier 2 tower.
Yeah.
You know that for a fact they've used Chaotic Offering, plus the Chronosphere and the Haunt. You talked about this is a lineup that is incredibly reliant on their ultimate timings. And it looks like CTY is going for
XD, that was perhaps a bit unnecessary. They get the vision on him, will be able to snowball in and chase down by that Sunraven team. That was him just trying to stop the incoming creep wave to protect that tier 1 tower, but it was completely unnecessary. CDEC would have been able to contest that tier 1 destruction anyway.
Even if they get the tier 1 tower, I don't think it means much.
While losing your Furion does significantly slow down your timing.
This CTY build, by the way, I know a lot has been said about the Badman build, you know, going for the Diffusal Manta, going for the Fighting Spectre. And that's all well and good, but when you've got a team that has the specific timing, and I said it before, right? Like the Nature's Prophet should probably, or somebody should grab a mech. They need a mech pushing hero.
Yep.
So he's gonna go for that. But even then, I was gonna say it would be even better if he doesn't go for a mech. But old 11.
Get himself into
okay.
the trees here. They don't actually have any more vision to see him. Wave of Terror was already used.
Yeah, fine. He can just time off to the right. As I was saying, if you go for the Radiance here, you finalize the game. One good Radiance fight, that's just game ending. And the reason he goes for this is because there's no reason to go for this like early game fighting build. You want to push it as late as you can. You want to be the best late game core that you can be.
Yeah.
So you go for this Radiance, I think, kind of finalize it and CDEC in a position where they have to get over aggressive.
Yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on CDEC to end the game because the Radiance allows you to farm so much faster as a Spectre and is still a significant team fight threat as well.
It destroys everybody on CDEC's lineup too.
We were talking about it during the draft in that they were all so squished, and obviously they're going for an early push lineup that could potentially end the game or at least get themselves a pretty big net worth lead to beef up, but it still doesn't change the fact that good nuking combinations from EHOME can definitely wipe CDEC if in the correct position.
CDEC though, the next timing window for them, pretty big, right before the Radiance on the Spectre. They have to take advantage of this as much as they can. Once he gets the Radiance, the fight becomes so weird. I think weird is like the only way that I can have to win that fight.
Oh, they've got Furion pushing out the bottom lane with the Shiki Queen of Pains showing at mid. The 3-man smoke through the Radiant jungle right now, but EHOME are just playing as the 5-man. They know how critical this timing is for the Spectre, and they just want to make sure that no one's picked off in the meanwhile.
I might even... XC's going to show himself at top. He's falling really far behind too. Got a lot of last hits though. A lot of that just comes from their decision to decide to go for the aggro lane beginning of the game for so long.
Right.
So his net worth isn't awful, but you have gone for the mech, plus like the Ring of Bassi, no phase boots, no drums or anything like that.
Roshan, unfortunately CDEC weren't able to get a pick off or anything like that, so Roshan is going to be their next objective, unfortunately for them. They don't want to see later Roshan. This kind of gives more opportunity for EHOME. In fact, that may actually be Radiance finished up for CTY before the Aegis is picked up. In fact, EHOME may even be able to contest that Roshan fight with the Radiance time.
Plus the 3 major ultimates made such a big pop. CDEC are definitely on the clock right now.
That just sounds like a nightmare to fight into. You as CDEC know you have to take Roshan, but at the same time, EHOME has such a good lineup to fight around the Roshan pit.
I think even then, if EHOME don't take the perfect fight, they can wait it out. Like they can just hide in their base, slowly farm and say, okay, let the game come to us.
Yeah.
Because they've got a lot of different options. The Warlock's about to Dagenham Scepter. Gonna make things even more difficult and more chaotic. You've got the Vlads completed on the Face Void. Everyone's getting a decent amount of farm right now. The Spectre is clearly on top of the net worth charts, but only going to get worse for them. Orchid is picked up though for the Queen of Pain, so maybe if she can get on top in these fights. I would almost prefer her to go for something more stat heavy, even, but maybe just for the Faceless Void and the Phoenix if you can initiate on them.
Yeah, the Phoenix in particular, silence is absolutely destroyed, but many of these heroes actually, if you get the right kind of initiation, Warlock of course is another hero that is, his teamfight ultimates are essential, and obviously he's not going to have anything to deal with that Orchid.
And how
Same
committed
goes with
they
the
are.
Faceless Void.
The GG push, by the way. What do you normally see on Q? He's going to go for Dragonlance Ags, but...
Yeah, the Necronomicon build. Kind of interesting with the earn timing as well. But that being said, that is a little bit of a disjointed message I'm getting from CDEC in that they're going Necronomicon on Enchantress, i.e. a little bit more of an early game, go high ground as fast as possible build, but Nature's Prophet just picked up the later Hand of Midas, which is more of, okay, this game's going to draw out another 25 minutes and I need to be able to keep up my farm.
It's a scary position to be in, because if you lose this game, you're going to get last in your group. Go through. So I think this is like the insurance policy, so you're not completely all in. I think in some ways you're right, because you go for this Midas. If they lose this fight, then the Nature's Prophet is the only hero that can bail them out to begin with.
Right.
By going for the split push and hoping that EHOME messes up. So I think it's okay for him to go for it, but the rest of his team is still going kind of this, we have to end the game at a certain time kind of play, and they do. But
Is there an item that actually Furion does get that is like hugely impactful at 25 minutes? But I mean, besides like another Necronomicon, but
Did that.
Yeah.
You lost the fight. It would be...
yeah, the game is guaranteed over from there. I guess I like looked at that Hand of Midas and I was like, oh, that's late game. But then there's not really necessarily a better item for Furion.
You're just stuck in a weird position where you don't want to really say. It gives your team hope too. You don't ever want to say to your team, guys, we just lost like 4 fights in a row and I've got a goddamn mech and a Necro 1 as NP.
Yeah.
What do we do? You're just like, okay guys, I've got a Midas. You know, maybe if we draw this out to 150 minutes.
I'll get the Ags. We'll just rat it
I'm
away.
keeping up in levels, guys. Why though is like CTY is the ever looming threat. Always have to keep it in your back of your mind, and it's so scary to think about.
Because of how critical it is defending high ground, do you think that Old 11 is getting Blink Dagger next? Kind of a necessity to make sure you get that perfect kind of chrono, particularly against the Orchid. It's not necessarily like you can play that far forward without danger of reprising.
It's not even about getting the perfect chrono. Any sort of chrono off. It's probably game-winning for team because they have so much team fight.
Plus the long initiation range of the Phoenix. If he jumps in, he supernovas. You want to make sure you can combo off of that.
And he's gonna go for the split. Ags is completed on the Warlock. Some options is Roshan is now up. Gonna go for the BKB, which he needs. Maybe that's a counter timing window a little bit. Get the BKB, the 10-second BKB, even maybe till 7. You're okay. Once you get to a 5-second BKB.
So BKB, Dro, BKB, Queen of Pain.
I really would like to see something
and
more.
Necrobook 3.
Yeah, I'd like to see more stats on this Queen of Pain.
Yeah.
I think she'll go down all too quickly against here. 1100 HP doesn't go very far when you've got, what is it, 6 seconds of burn going on to you?
Yeah. And probably a couple of desolate hits.
Yeah, exactly. That
Some
doesn't
supernova burn damage. You know, there's a lot of incidental damage that Clump's going to be taking. 2-man smoke up from CDEC, Carter, and Shiki. Going to see if they can get some sort of pick off. Maybe this will lead them to feeling confident enough to take Roshan, depending on the pick. They've drawn a line to catch CTY at bottom lane, but CTY is not going to be playing that aggressively. He knows he's kind of hit his timing, right? He doesn't have to worry about farm.
Oh, XC is gonna go for the courier.
Nice pick off is not. Oh, the snowball barely gets there in time. I actually thought his the Furion TP was fast enough, but Ace and CDC, that was the exact opposite of what they were looking for, as they're the ones who get picked off.
Pretty dangerous to begin with. I'm sort of okay with that in some ways, but I really thought he was going to get out. Why he wouldn't have done it. If there was something on the courier, I would have said it was worth it. Anything that could delay EHOME, there's nothing like that. Anything is just more gold for CTY. Inexperience. That's a level 16 Spectre that you're going to have to eventually do something about.
Old 11 chipping away at that tier 1 tower, but they're not committing anything too critical. Like, Old 11 is a pick they can afford. They've got the Spectre in a much safer position farming up that top lane. Snowball comes out, but Shiki's already made the jump, but because he's already made the jump, CTY is able to pop his ultimate and get immediately onto Shiki, but a nice swap and another blink away gets him some distance, but CTY is a man that cannot be stopped. Chases down the Queen of Pain, looks for XZ, but he's going to TP out.
He just goes to the other illusion. Can't really do anything to stop him. And the Warlock
now they're going to get even more. They're willing to drop double ultimates just to make sure that Aggressive is going to die in the mid lane. It's because they got these big pickoffs. And Aggressive tries to go for the futile TP out. 3 heroes down now, and this is going to be EHOME actually getting such a big amount of map control now. They can go for the tier 2 at mid. You've already got CTY pushing out bottom lane as well. Can't quite go for Roshan or anything like that, but they can definitely make this game a whole lot tougher for CDEC.
Going to be the match completed now on CTY2, and you just got a lot of doubloons completed. side of EHOME. 2,700 gold on Old Chicken. Kaka's finally got
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
worth.
This is now CDEC, I think, like fully committing to late game. You've missed your timing entirely, right? You had to be able to take Roche on number 2, and that seems almost impossible now.
I don't know. This Orchid decision from Shiki is still kind of weird. He knew the type of game that he was in.
What did you think should have been the item?
I don't know, like
Ags
Ags.
and BK.
Go straight BKB. Kind of game losing. You needed the BKB eventually to deal with the spec because you saw how much damage spec did.
Right.
On top of them. CDC, they're really hard committed to this now. EHOME, they always have some sort of ultimate up.
Yeah, they've got Supernova that they can actually put up on the cliff if they really want to challenge this one. But it could be kind of game losing. We'll see. Kaka just does a flyby, and I think they're just going to harass CDC.
I think they want to fight. C2I almost has the...
Oh, but Old 11 was coming right into that Orchid. He's easily going to go down, and they're going to fight. There's no way they can...
Okay, now this.
Yeah. Before, though, yeah. The hunt just coming up.
Roshan has fallen to the dire. Immortality.
Finally picks up that Aegis. They'll have the BKB coming in for him now. CDC do get Roche on number 2, but it's at 26.5 minutes. All the basic items needed to defend high ground are definitely there for EHOME. Manta, Radiance, and even a Vit booster now on the Spectre.
Everything is just luxury on this guy.
Does he just commit fully for survivability and pick up the full heart next?
All you have to do is last long enough in the fight for your Radiance to really deal effective damage. Because just kind of pushing out lanes. And the reason why he does this is, and he plays it so aggressively, because he wants to make sure that whatever timing CDC commit for, it takes them a lot to do so.
Oh Jesus, Shiki almost died straight up to the Manta plus ultimate being used. Garter, like everyone will be able to survive except for bottom lane where CTY has showed himself. They do have the Sunbeam coming up. That's going to be enough heals to keep CTY alive and killing the Queen of Pain. They need a little bit more impetus damage. CTY goes to the TP out, Silence forward push, and they barely get the damage out from Shiki in time. Enchantress is the one to pick up that critical gold. 810 for that wicked sick streak. That means Enchantress can roll right along from that Necro Book into that damage build that we were talking about earlier with the Dragonlance and Aghanims.
You click his hero portrait, it actually died in the fountain.
Oh, rough.
You know, right? That's,
yeah.
Because it brings you to where you died to. Am I going insane here? But
Lottom's got the pick off. He knows it too. It's in his room. There's no way XE can TP away fast enough.
He just has to keep the snowball.
Yeah, just hold on to the snowball. In fact, XE no longer has mana, so he doesn't even have to worry about that anymore.
Everyone getting on top of him.
And that's a really big takeoff because CDC were finally in a position they could actually take another objective, but they're Furion down and back up in 20 seconds. That seems unlikely.
That was really weird. Like, XE in the other games is like the architect of their success, and in this one it just feels like he's making way too risky moves. He's playing really fast and loose with this Nate Prophet. The spec doesn't even have up. Maybe they can go for something here, or at least pressure and force something. Play around that, but by doing so, he just kind of dies for nothing.
Yeah, it was like CDEC were in panic mode at a point in time, and you could kind of understand that aggressive movement until the Spectre died. Once the Spectre died, you actually gave yourself so much extra time in this game. 14-8 right now, 29 minutes in. Pretty favorable to EHOME and just in that, but if you look a little bit deeper into some of the items that CTY has picked up, he's actually got himself now, is that a casual plate now? Buff up, because it's a lot of physical damage coming out from CDEC.
You can even go justify an AC, but it doesn't really matter. The only reason he died was stuck collapsed on by 3 heroes. He was completely alone. Yeah. And on top of that, XE just whiffs.
Yeah, he is definitely dead. They can still use the Chronosphere if they want to. Actually, the Orchid comes in at the right time, and XE will be able to TP out, it seems. And, oh, we got the time lock! And it is going to die. The Supernova was proc just in case the fight was going to continue. That being said, that's a pretty significant ultimate. CDEC, unfortunately, not going to be able to take advantage of it. They're just not in the greatest position. Iki had to defend mid. Furion's down for 40 seconds.
CTY just continues to play the farm game. Allow your team to do whatever you want. You can haunt in, worst comes to worst. And at best, you're taking a 4v5 fight if you're CDC at top. You have to kind of understand that CTY should have the haunt up.
Yeah. I like this choice by Garter. Both his Is early gem being picked up, which seems like a necessity for CDEC at this point in time. They can't play around with smokes anymore. Those are going on cooldown for quite some time, so gem's sort of like the pseudo smoke play.
Old 11 just completed the Aghanim Scepter though.
Yeah. I also like his the Hood of Defiance. You gotta find some way to make this fair and a little bit tankier. On him. Jump in with Old 11, straight onto Q. Shiki has already blinked himself in, managed to get the Orchid onto Old 11. They swap back in the Sonic Wave. They actually managed to take him out just in time to blink back from Shiki. Gets away from those damn golems. Garter is going to be dying though. Haga does not have the Supernova, but the fight's still going on. Deep line, CTY way in there. Right click down by 3 other big heroes. Oh, the Necronomicon explodes. Takes out the Spectre. Old Chicken will be able to TP out, but that was a nasty fight for EHOME.
That was perfect for CDEC. They played the backline. C plus Aggressive plus the Queen of Pain were completely isolating the Spectre out by himself, and he wasn't in a position where he could get on top of them. That's the ideal fight for them to take. I'm surprised that he was willing to go in that deep, and the opening initiation too was just a little bit too hasty. Go on to an Enchantress who way too tanky for them.
And that's again Old 11 being caught out by the Orchid. That's like the 3rd time this game where he's not giving enough respect to Shiki's ability to disable him and stop his initiation.
Almost think he should have gone for a defusal over the Axe.
Yeah.
He's not able to get the ultimate off, and the Queen of Pain, her only job is, okay, I'm gonna silence Old 11 when he goes in and we'll just immediately kill him. We'll commit for this. Chrono is too big of an ability to let him get casually off.
Right.
Plus they forced the wasted egg in top 2. That was like a perfect storm of situation. They didn't let him get the Chrono, no ideal egg. Only spell that really landed for them that worked out was the Warlock ultimate. And the Haunt wasn't big.
And now they're going to have another full duration BKB XZ as has enough gold to be able to buy it out. We'll see if he actually does though. Might want to hold on to buyback for now.
Just YOLO for it.
Yeah. He was. It's like one of those items you can YOLO for it, right? Because BKB allows you to be able to survive, presumably, first time. So. That's too bad. Hold 11. That was not the Chronosphere, and he realizes his foolishness as he hits the Queen of Pain a couple more times. It is indeed just an image. Old 11's got to get out of here, actually. CDEC. No, because the Chronosphere is down, they can definitely force this fight. They do have the Supernova ready to go, but CDEC pop their BKBs and are just going to turn and fight that egg. We'll be able to take it out as the golems drop, but just a bit too late. CTY's in front of everything, but once again, we're seeing a scenario where CDEC are able to just put 4 heroes up against CTY and start right-clicking him down. The pot Manta, everybody's so low. CTY desperately trying to finish off anybody, only gets their Drow Ranger in the back line, though. Old 11 is being chased away by XZ. No teleport just yet, and that's going to be the Warlock keeping out as well. But what is that, the 3rd time in a row that they've killed the Spectre in a team fight?
Man, that Warlock golem was not micro either. It's almost like he just drops them and then forgets about it. Like, set it and forget it. He had gone that off properly, they probably killed like multiple heroes there, but it was on top of Q. If that Warlock golem helped out the Spectres, maybe they were able to trim out that fight. EHOME have just wasted so many opportunities. Like, this Faceless Void not being able to get the Chrono off on anybody.
Did he refresh for that? He didn't double gold, right? And like his refresh was on cooldown, but
yeah.
So that was probably one of those like panic, like I've got to save the egg, refresh and throw it down. That actually puts EHOME in a really bad position.
EHOME is just not playing as a team today. I haven't seen them this off in a while. It's not even just their teamwork; it's the spell casting being usually their strong point. Okay, well, we'll get behind in the laning phase, whatever. Bend don't break, the motto. Part of that comes along with using your spells impeccably. They were able to do it in the first game, but it feels like they're just being pressured too much, and Void hasn't been able to get Chrono off. The eggs haven't been ideal. Old Chicken has to really micro these static offerings, and too much is being put on CTY shoulders right now. And he's got to deal with multiple BKB heroes.
Yeah. They've
got this timing where they're still incredibly strong. Like I said, it was like you get 6 or 7 second BKBs. You've got a full 9-second one on the Nature's Prophet.
Oh, that was not the smoke. CTY definitely wants to farm this one out. The other 4 should be moving out as a smoke crew and see if they can get the right kind of initiation.
Oh, so
We have yet to see a Chronosphere egg combination.
I haven't seen a Chronosphere in the last like 12 minutes or something.
We haven't seen a Chronosphere anything.
Yeah,
Combination.
They're looking for this in the hopes they finally just get any sort of initiation now.
That is a full completed heart though on the Spectre.
But
That being said, that's a buyout. So if CDC can actually win this fight, they may actually be able to go for an objective.
I really think it's any sort of chrono that you can take point, because we haven't seen what the fights look like. That's important in itself. That's pretty telling. If you hit like a full 5-man chrono and you still lose the fight, then at that point you're really worried. But you can kind of judge how the game's going by how ideal are the spell usage. Right now CDC is just outplaying them and EHOME is panicking a little bit.
And he can afford with that Aghanims upgrade to just go for like the 1-man chrono.
Yeah.
Kind of see what happens from there.
I think at this point his team would be pleased with the 1-man chrono. Just like get anything off that you can. Please, let's just take one good fight. And that's the thing, is that they haven't, not once this game have they been able to execute everything.
Old 11, there's that 1-man chrono, but is it Enchantress? Not sure if that's going to be the hero. They swap him out, and now Old 11's going to be silenced up. They do have the Shivas. The egg goes down, but the beacon the pop. Now the golems are dropped. The egg is still going to go down, though. There's just not enough golems around to stop CDEC, as they can now turn and potentially fight CTY as he tries to press forward. But looks like they're just going to have to content themselves with the tier 2 tower. CDEC fine with them. They're already pushing out that top lane. In fact, EHOME has to go back and defend that. The tier 2 will survive, and it's probably going to be the Warlock Golems. They're going to sacrifice the CDEC.
If anything, I thought maybe you just drop both of them and allow CTY to continue to press forward. That's finally... Is that even
especially
a one fight?
if that extra stun potentially allows the egg to finish. The fight looks entirely different if it does.
Finally gets the chrono off, but it's on the target that you want to chrono least. You notice that Q is just always putting himself forward. All of these engagements.
Right. The CDEC are super low. They really cannot fight Roshan right now. It was going to be kind of caught out. Walrus Punch finally going off. CTY slowly but surely right-clicking away at him. They do have the swap back in, and Shiki is actually going in deep here. Pops the BKB, has a blink up in a second. The Golem stop him for only a second, though. And he will be able to blink himself away till the dagger. It's not going to be enough to bring him down, but it will slow him down. The Spectre might be able to run him down with the Radiance. Needs something to be able to save him. Garter has the swap. That's a little bit extra more. Gives up his life. Take Shiki's life.
Oh. That was such a sick swap. He was
11 still looking for more, though.
Almost 100% going to die there.
Yeah.
Blink was still on cooldown for 2 seconds. He had 140 HP. That would have been a death, but you got to commit the golems, and you don't have the refresher. At the same time, this is most likely going to mean the Roshan for EHOME. At the same time, look at XC finally to see what Nature's Prophet is all about.
They're going to get this Aegis and Sheath mixed up. As the Roshan dies, Lanham's going to make his initiation here. BKB is popped, and actually defensive snowball being used by Lanham. Still going to try and get that Walrus Punch, but unfortunately can't get there in time. Back at the base, Kaka. Okay, he managed to get out of the Roshan pit. Spectral Spin being popped there. They're going to go Chronosphere onto 2. That's good set up. The Sounds gets laid out. Aggressive runs into the Chronosphere. That's no good. The Sunbeam's going to town. CTY just charges forward into all these heroes. Is going to identify XC as the squishiest damage dealer, but the Necronomicons are causing issues until CTY pops that G. Now Q, he's going to be targeted. Good swap out. That's going to be able to get him to distance and will actually potentially kill Old 11. Nice impediment shot to finish things off, but he only has 60 HP. CTY can run him down after he gets aggressive with the Hub Tough. Q TP's away successfully, and Garter, well, looks like he's going to be able to get out as well.
Great pace off. Yeah. That was like, no way EHOME were going to win that fight. TY was getting dangerously low. CDC were like, we got this fight finally. And gets the cheese handoff.
No, that's melee racks and almost a range rack down.
I told you, man. My boy XE, he's like Midas. Like, we're not winning this game, guys. The rest of his team's like, no, guys, we got this. And he's like, no. I'm gonna just kind of be our insurance policy.
Completed out the Mjolnir, but where does he go from here? More of a damage build? go for like the Scythe of Vice, or do you think that the Aghanims is more of an arbiter of late game?
I think everybody just goes for late game items at this point.
Mm-hmm.
C can probably pick up. I don't think the Ags is super worth it. I think if you go for the Ags, then you have to be fully committed to that build. You go for like the Octarine Core.
Okay.
And all that, Silver Edge. Maybe even a Hex would be really good right now, especially because old 11 is committed for the Ghost Scepter instead of going for. I just grab a Diffusal. So good.
CDY's got to get BKB.
I
mean,
think so.
if they get a Scythe of Vice on Nature's.
No, because you play around the Haunt.
Okay. I mean, it would allow him to just go right through that enchantment.
Yeah, but you get wrecked by the right click and the impetus shots. I don't think there's enough of a reason to.
Has been denied.
Well, he wouldn't if he killed.
Rex still has Haunt, but EHOME. Game is so close. P is full 0 at 41 minutes. Gold is in a similar situation. CDEC barely lead. Despite all of this, they're in an okay position because even though CTY is huge, they have the means to deal with them. They've got the damage.
Blade for is there any reason? Oh yeah, he can get the Silver Edge again.
Yeah. It's gonna take him forever to get that.
Yeah, that one right click.
Game winning.
Home 11. Wants to pop the Chronos here on just a Prestige, but once again there is going to be the swap out. They're having to tent themselves with the Guard Tail. The Golems get dropped. That's actually a big stun on the 5. Now the Supernova. Now we see the combination of full fury now of EHOME to go directly into CDEC's face. Hopping on a Q. He's barely surviving off the heal, but they don't really care about him. They're dealing with the other damage dealers in the back. They take out 3 of them and now turn their attention to the tier 3 tower with double Golems.
They don't have the nature cross buyback.
Oh, aggressive. Shows himself a bit far forward. CDEC can't really stop that one. Old 11's gonna go down, but CTY still on the front lines. He challenges Shiki to a duel, but Shiki's gonna back out to that fountain. They're gonna try and kite around CTY. EHOME are trying to protect his retreat now. They can actually turn it. CD's here dropping so damn low. They can't actually commit this hill on CTY. He still has enough HP to turn. Kills the Throw Ranger, and CDEC, that will beat them out for game number 3. They have no buybacks whatsoever.
They're just reeling at this point, and EHOME have to be breathing like the biggest sigh of relief. They're just like, we finally got our combination off. I don't. At this point, they're not even. Whatever chrono you get, we know it's going to be one-man swapped. Whatever, set up the fight. Kaka plus Old Chicken, you know, they hooked up to the Phoenix Egg plus double rock combo.
I'm a little bit surprised they haven't gone for just tiers and throw because they can't get megas out of it. Still have the tier 2 tower up in the bottom lane, so CDEC may actually have a second chance here.
Yeah, they're not GGing out. They can get thrown. This would have been the ideal opportunity to go for throne.
Yeah.
EHOME instead going for the double racks, and not that great because you're only up 1 rack right now.
As DT back here from CTY, 10 more seconds till his ult is back up. Kaka wants it so bad. Supernova not up for another 5 seconds. Gem given away, and CDEC. How they get a breath of life in this game number 3. Not sure how that happened, but
what just happened? Everybody used buyback, and they didn't even take like the seconds in the racks.
And quad golems out and everything.
All right, and that is cool. CDEC, I was like, why are these guys? They're just stunned. But then EHOME doesn't even take anything because they're putting them inside their base. EHOME is just gonna casually continue the game. CDEC's, they're not even in the worst position. Like, they're behind 1 set of racks. Yeah, the net worth is crazy, but there's still a glimmer of tiny faint hope.
Yeah, a little sparkle. It's hard to see how CDEC would be able to win a fight if executed by EHOME like they did last time.
I think the game is still... EHOME should win, but it's like they were like...
They had the guaranteed win, and then they're just like, we'll give you guys 1 more chance. Just tiniest chance.
Maybe you couldn't have thrown it in time. How long did they have? Like 90 seconds? They feel like they did, but
I mean, they couldn't even.
They
take
should have
the
at
full
least
top
taken the
lane
racks.
rack.
They should have at least taken the racks for sure. A went way too aggressive there. Throne was pretty ambitious. Kind of disagree with you on the throne end. That was like AB. The racks, yeah.
XC's got 3,500 gold right now. He's desperately trying to split push out this bottom lane. He'll force the Spectre back, but that doesn't mean much. Got that ultimate ready to go. And EHOME are going to try and rectify mistakes of past. Seeing if they could take that melee racks once again.
Got the creep wave in.
Dire's top
CDEC,
barracks
oh,
are
Q
under
doesn't have a
attack.
TP. He's gambling on.
Prancing on
rack.
through that jungle, trying to make it back
Dire's top
home.
barracks.
He with the intimidation, scream the pain.
Dire's
Rain
top
track slowly
barracks
but
are
surely
under attack.
kicked down. EHOME are more than willing to let CDC try and make an end. Oh, 3-man Chronosphere. That's going to be leading into some sort of follow-up here. Kaka holding out there. Gets the Shivas down. Now the Golden start dropping Supernova over the top. There's just way too many disables for CDC to be able to deal with. CDC just mops up the back line. Still able to run all the way into the fountain, chase down both Aggressive as well as Shiki. Out CDC have a chance to be able to respond to that, as finally the Golems will start focusing on those tier 4 towers,
Dire's
and
middle
Q
tower is
patiently
under
wait
attack.
out his time to see if he can find an opening.
Okay, I lied. They could have just skipped the mid racks even and got the throne the first time around. That's on my bad. That's me. They take it so quickly.
Quad Golem. That's what they do. So, EHOME keeps their bid alive for the winner's bracket. They have to still go through another series that's going to be them facing up against the losers of our next match. Going to be the winners versus the winners. One hell of a game. Where do you think CDEC really lie in this tournament as a whole? Despite getting bottom in their group, do you think they're still going to make a strong showing?
No.
All right, there's the answer for Blitz. Let's see what our analysts have.